What's happening? Yeah. All right. Wait for that thing to do higgity boogity. And there we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Houston. We have a problem. It's a special show today. I know we did Charity Tuesday last week, but the earthquake in Turkey and Syria is one of the worst natural disasters in the last decade. And so Roza recommended Pious Projects as a great charity that's on the ground in Turkey, helping get people food, water, emergency services, all sorts of stuff. So today's show, we're going to try and raise money for them. I know you guys reached into your deep pockets deep last week with Bigham's show and donated a whole bunch of money to help guide dogs. But it's a special situation, so we're doing another Charity Tuesday today. Also, I wasn't able to do a show yesterday, so it's a makeup show as well. So if you'd like to donate, please do. As a reminder, anybody watching this show later, you'll have the in the recorded show, you'll have a button somewhere to the side of your screen where you can donate, and everything goes straight through YouTube directly to Pious Projects, and helps those who need it. And if you're watching the commercials on this show, every penny from one of those commercials also goes to Pious Projects. So thank you so much for donating and getting in there. And I don't know if a bill will raise $1,000 on such short notice like this on an emergency Charity Tuesday, but might as well put the goal out there and see what we can do, right? So thank you, everybody, for ahead of time, for getting in there, helping out, and being just the fantastic, great people you are. All right? Right. Okay, off. Ha! No second intro. Oh, there we go, everybody. All right. Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous. SS Minnow Johnson with his $1. Diane B, thank you. Lone Wolf, thank you so much. We are already 12.5% of our way there. And it all took was one intro, right, Monkey? Yeah, oh boy. So, what's on the board news-wise today? We had some rocket ships taken off. Bed Bath & Beyond was going parabolic, and then at close they announced they're doing a share offering, and then it opened way down today. But that share offering seems to be a little weird. Like they may be doing a new IPO. That's some of the rumors. It's an investment anchor that they're selling to. Some of the language around what an investment anchor is suggests that they're going to be doing a reissue of shares. So does that mean everyone's going to have to close positions? And I don't know. I was just reading about it like right before I came on. Seems like a weird thing to do, but might be super cool. We'll see. Anonymous, thank you. All right. 13% of the way to our goal on this emergency Charity Tuesday. Thank you. We'll go on some Google Earth and we'll discuss some geology of the area later. What's happening in Turkey and Syria. GME and AMC had 2 days in a row basically the same ticker again. That's weird. But everything is kind of red today. Don't know if the baskets that everything's in are just getting pushed around. Get that halt going, and then everything drops after the halt. That seems to be the MO. And the president of OTC, Cromwell, what's his last name? Cromwell, whatever his name is, was definitely stepping in it on Twitter yesterday. He came on, was responding to everybody, and his position is, hey, it's not the OTC's fault. They can be fixed just if NextBridge just agrees to have an IPO, and then we can fix all this. But he also is on record to like Congress saying that shorting on the OTC is not as much as it is on other exchanges, which is bullshit. No, shorting on the OTC is worse than any other exchange because there's nobody really looking after it. That's it. Cromwell Coulson, thank you. Cromwell Coulson, that's his last name. And, I'll be honest, like, if you're going to name your kid Cromwell, Uh, don't name your kid after a war criminal who, like killed millions of Irish. That's just a don't do that. Like, name your kid Hitler these days. Just don't name your kid Cromwell. Don't name him King Leopold. Don't name them Pol Pot. Don't name your kid Cromwell. All right, that is one of my life suggestions. You can put on the list. Like, don't name your kid after war criminals. Okay. Is that all I want to cover off the top of the bat, Monkey? Everyone keeps record of this stuff. Sure, whatever. If there's more to talk about, you guys will bring it up, and we'll see what's happening there. Okay, so J-Dog, Fred Myers in Auburn sold the jackpot ticket. I forgot to buy one. I was going to buy one yesterday before I left to go pick up my mom at the airport, and I totally forgot. And then on the ferry boat back from the airport, the headline was Washington resident wins Powerball, and I was like, darn. Oh well. So hey, and it's appropriate. The 747 just ended. The last 747 was delivered this last week, and it's a Washington-built plane, and the jackpot was $747 million. So there's a Washington. Hopefully, it's some sort of Boeing machinist who won that 747 million. It'd be just desserts right there. Okay, and BW Brand. Okay, you got a doctor appointment? That's okay, my man. Get in there. Okay. Alexander Hakeem, Houston. Is there a new judge in Rosa's case? There seems to be one who's referring and another one who's presiding. Maybe I'm missing something or something happened. Not that I know of. Generally, in district court, you do have like a chief justice who's they're the administrators of the court. That might be what that alludes to. The referring one, and the presiding judge is the judge who just happens to be one hearing the case. That'd be my guess. Okay. Fabrizio GME, do you think the Egyptians had machines back then? They had semblance of machines, maybe not with like gearing and stuff, but like the spiral gold wheel was invented by the Egyptians, and that was a machine. I mean, it wasn't like powered by electricity or anything. You rotated the wheel. Spiral gold wheel is pretty neat. I've got one. These guys. These dudes here. So let's see. Is there an example of the one I have? This is the one I have. This guy here. So what you have is got these spiral riffles that come all the way in, and a little spray bar. I point to my screen, but it doesn't help you guys. A little spray bar right here, and it sprays water down on the spirals. And you tilt the wheel at a certain angle, or depending if you're trying to get gold or silver or gemstones or whatever, you tilt the angle as to where the water flow wants to wash everything except for the stone or mineral you're looking for off the riffles. And you just scoop spoonfuls of material into the base of the wheel. So as it rotates, the water kind of keeps it there, and it works all the heavy material further and further up until it falls to that little hole in the center and then drops into a cup that's hanging off the back. And so it's a great way to concentrate your gold. And the Egyptians invented that. That's how they did a lot of their gold mining along the banks of the Nile. You just scoop up some sand and gravel, dump it into these things, and you got some probably slaves wheeling this thing around, and then eventually it's going to catch all the rough little nuggets and flour gold pellets that you have. This is a vibrating one, so this is a little different than mine. $995. Holy crap! Mine doesn't vibrate, but I paid like $200 for it. I mean, I can make it vibrate. I can go get myself a Hitachi, stick it on there, pleasure that spiral gold wheel all day long. So yeah, they had machines. They had at least a spiral gold wheel. Mario Valdez, Houston, what's brown rhymes with Snoop? I know that. I love that old joke. Dr. Dre. B-Ball 3710. Does the Fed ever have to sell its assets on the balance sheet? What would force them? Do they have to? No. Should they? Yes. basically they bought up all the assets as a way to bolster the market and keep prices high. But if there's a market crash, they're going to need cash. And to get cash, you got to sell that stuff, which is going to cause the market to crash even more. So they're kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't zone. Like they can't keep printing money and buying more securities, and they can't dump all the securities and crash the market because then they got to print money to make up for it. So they had this plan, like, oh, we're going to sell about this much every month, and it's just going to work its way down. And they've not stuck to that plan in any way, shape, or form because it seems like every month there's a new cataclysmic event that could take everything down, and they got to go and shore up more securities to keep the market from crashing. So the market seems to be so tenuous that the Fed is scared to quantitative tighten and to sell those securities. So yeah, they bought too many. They should let the sucker crash 2 years ago and then climb back up out of it then. Like, let the market crash during the COVID shutdown. You have all the excuses in the world for the market to crash during that time. Then do your printing and fix everything. But I think that they jumped the gun and didn't let the market correct itself a little bit, because we still have not fully recovered from supply chain issues and other stuff with COVID. So, oh, here we go. All right. Javi A, thank you. Anonymous, thank you. Another anonymous, thank you. SS Mel Johnson with another one. The Oat Milk Man, the most threatening name on the internet, comes through. Another anonymous. So we are 18.1% of our way to our goal on the special Charity Tuesday, raising money for Pious Projects. They do emergency relief, clean water, food. They build shelters. They seem like a pretty solid charity. It's a charity Roza Tawil recommended on her Facebook or Twitter post earlier, and I looked them up, and they're available. So we're doing a special Charity Tuesday just for them to hopefully help folks who are victims of this heinous earthquake. It's bad. I wouldn't doubt if we see numbers similar to what we saw out of the earthquake in Haiti in 2010. A lot of buildings collapsed. There isn't enough rescue workers to pick through the rubble and rescue people. So there's going to be a lot in the recovery process for these folks. So there's not the strictest building codes, and a lot of these buildings were not built to withstand such a huge shallow earthquake. It's the type of earthquake that would hit Seattle along the Seattle fault. Like, it's a surface fault. So 7.8, 7.9 from the surface would absolutely just level everything. Most big earthquakes happen, 15, 30, 40 miles down. The suckers are right at the surface. And, shake for 2-3 minutes, just incredible destruction. So I want to thank everybody who's donating. And who knows if we can get to our $1,000 goal, because we already had Charity Tuesday last week. And I know money's tight. But if you can donate, thank you so much, and let's help these folks recover from something that's just unthinkable. I was listening to As It Happens last night, and they were on the phone with survivors, and it's just horrendous. Like, they're interviewing this poor guy, and he's standing outside the building where his grandparents are, and the building's collapsed. And the home next door was the home of his best friend, and they managed to pull the bodies out and his best friend, and they didn't have a vehicle to take them, so they had to put him in the shovel of an excavator and take him to the morgue that way. And they just weren't enough people left over to help recover his grandparents, and it's just gnarly, man. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So helping donate today helps these folks get relief, closure, survive. So thank you for getting in there. Dan Margelo, thank you so much. Okay. Yogi, 2012 CRTD goes on the blockchain next week. Is it going on that, what was the name of that? The MEJI, whatever the blockchain exchange is? Yeah. 1-800 lawyer up. What's going on with the meme stocks? Moon soon? Love your show. You got me. I mean, the volatility's back, that's for sure. We saw quite the movements. I mean, we saw 175% gains for Bed Bath and Beyond yesterday, and it just crashed right back down today. So the volatility's moving, and if you had spare cash to do calls yesterday and you got out and bought puts, you could have turned $1,000 into $30,000 since yesterday, if that's what you did. So, if those of you who managed to do that, fantastic. Otherwise, we're just watching from the sidelines. Sam Wade, what's up, Houston? Keep the good great work. These charity streams. If I wanted to buy an electric car but don't trust Tesla, you have any recommendations? It's my cousin Sam asking me about car advice. Well, if you want range, the new Ion Q from Hyundai has, like, I don't know, 150 miles more range than a Tesla at this point. It's kind of ugly, I'll be honest. The front end's kind of cool. The back end looks like it's a poopy diaper. But whatever. I think electric cars are great. They do save a lot of money. Although I do think plug-in hybrids, if you're going to be doing road trips, are probably the best. So my sister Rachel's got the Chrysler, was a Pacifica minivan, and it gets like 80 miles on a plug-in charge and then does the engine after that. I think she's filled her tank like once in a year, because most of her driving is to work, drop the kids off at soccer practice or whatever, come home. So she's never doing more than 80 miles at a time, and just plugs it in when she gets home. So if you do, like, oh, we're gonna go camping and we gotta load up the minivan, head out, go camping, and you're gonna drive 300 miles, then you got the engine, and it helps along the way. But if you don't have to go long distances most of the time, why not get one of those plug-in hybrids and just use electricity while you're puttering about town or doing your daily commute? I think it's not so bad. Okay, Anonymous, thank you. Ridz, thank you. Got some Brits in here. I'm doing it early enough that you guys haven't fallen asleep yet. Andrew Stewart, Houston, we always make the 1K, best comedian YouTube. I hope we get there. We're 21.3% of the way there. So we're getting there, folks, to help these folks out. Hopefully it's not another national disaster and we can, like, reload our coffers for our regular Charity Tuesday coming up in a couple weeks. Still don't know what that charity is going to be. But another Anonymous, thank you. Thank you for jumping in there. 21.8% of the way there. Fantastic. Okay. Dog Mom, thank you. Lost Wave, Sasquatch, Genesis D are real. Peter Mullins, could you take a look at Veracity coin? I have no idea what a Veracity coin is. Come on. Veracity coin. Veracity coin? You got Veracity. Coin market cap. VRA to US dollar. Live. Wink. We got almost worth a penny. What's your chart? Oh, look, there it goes. Okay, so it looks like it's the 1 year. Okay, so we were at 3 cents at one time, crashed down, and now it seems to be climbing back up again. What is their coin? What's their deal? VRA, Veracity price, blah blah blah. Are they destroying coins at all? In 2018, Veracity is a generation of video sharing aimed at creating a fair system for creators to earn their work and advertisers to gain value for their ad spending. So it's a coin specifically for video. Platform offers rewards and VRA for watching, subscribing, and winning. So you earn coins by watching TV. Platform Esport Fight Club, a pro gaming streaming platform with features esports tournaments. It looks like it creates coins by you watching. So I guess you could probably watch this show on their thing, and I know nothing about these guys. Action TV. Veracity streaming, about 2 million publishers, 550 million views, combined 110 million views monthly. All right. Well, I mean, it's going up from, it was 0.01 penny. Now it's 0.08. Okay, well, there you go. Beyond that, I know nothing about them. They're Phil, or Peter. Sorry, Peter. I'll look them up more. Maybe you guys can watch my show via this and get paid in pennies. That work? Nigamon, ancient Rome had 4 poisons. 1, 2, and 3 would kill you. Poison 4 only made you itchy. What? I mean, Greece had hemlock. They got Socrates with that. I mean, Socrates was given the option. They said, Socrates, would you drink this vial of hemlock, or we can have the soldier reach up through your anus and pull your heart out? And Socrates is like, I'll take the hemlock. And that's how they got rid of him. Dog mom, love the dog pic yesterday. She's so adorable. You are so adorable, aren't you, you little booger? Yeah. Got to spend the day in the city yesterday. Yeah. They gave you some cow knees to eat. Those are delicious. Yep. Just like humans, I don't understand them. Javier, what was up with yesterday? Movements of GME, BBBY, and other basket stocks. All that just brings them hard down. Hope no one bought the top. Yeah. I think when we get those days, we got crazy weird spikings happening. I mean, I wish I had been able to buy puts on Bed Bath & Beyond for sure at the close yesterday. But I missed it. Oh, that's the look of a dog who wants a blanket. Yes. Is that what you want? That's right. That's right. Just cozy down. Okay. $266. 26.6% of our way there. Daniel Batchelor, Lorena Williams, thank you, and Bex, thank you so much. We got donations from UK, America, Canada. Thank you so much for getting in here, folks, and helping everybody out. We've got 700 and oh, that was a big one. Laji Molala, thank you so much. There we go. $316, 31.6% of the way. So now we got $684 to go to get to our $1,000 goal on the special Traded Tuesday to help out the earthquake victims in Turkey and Syria. It's gnarly. Should we go look at the map? Let's look at the map and we can kind of discuss what's going on there. Okay. So come on, there we go. Zoom out. Leave my home, fly across the world. Okay. So it's a little hard to see, but we do have a couple plates coming together. We've got this African plate, and we've got Europe sort of collapsing together, and then we've got the Eurasian plate, and there's a crossroads basically happening for these fault zones that split right through Istanbul and the Bosphorus Strait here between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. But down south, we've got other things happening. We have the Rift Zone, the East African Rift Zone that starts way down here in Southern Africa. And this is where Africa is trying to split apart, and it's basically making a new continent and going to eventually create an ocean between East Africa and West Africa. There'll be an ocean forming here. But this passes all the way up, all the way up through the Red Sea. And you can see where the spreading ridge is in the Red Sea. So this is just like the spreading ridge happening in the Atlantic that's spreading the Atlantic apart. And this spreading ridge goes all the way up through the border between Israel and Jordan, so like the Dead Sea and the Sea of Galilee, and all those are found along here, and passes all the way up through to sort of where the connecting point is between these essentially 3 continents in the center of Turkey. And you can see sort of the curve in the rock where these continents are merging together. And in southern Turkey, in this area here, we've got a huge fault zone making these mountains in the north and a huge fault zone doing these mountains in the south. They're sort of coming off of the impact of these 3 continents as they push together. and it makes for very, very shallow surface faults in this whole area here. And when I say shallow surface faults, I mean like the faults can be visible at the surface, and so when the Earth rumbles, when it moves, when it shifts side to side, or they smush together, the shaking is insanely intense. Uh, you don't want to see a surface earthquake. The earthquake that happened in Haiti in 2010 was a surface quake, 7 point something, and it killed what 500,000 people. Absolutely just gnarly. So you might get huge quakes like these subduction zone quakes in Chile or Japan that push 9.0 on the scale, but they happen deep and usually offshore. So the biggest danger from those are from the tsunami that washes in, and not from the shaking itself. I mean, the shaking can cause damage and things like that, but the communities are usually 100 miles or so away. Plus, it happens at a deep depth down the ocean. These fault zones pass right through these communities, and you can see these faults. Like this one in the north here, you can see it. There's a fault right there. This line passes right through here. That is a fault zone. That's a surface fault. And down south, you can see the fault zone right here. This is the fault that triggered that earthquake, and is right at the surface. So you could be looking at all sorts of devastation. I saw images of a castle that was built in like 2500 BC, and it's leveled. The thing been around for 5,000 years, and it got taken down by this earthquake. So this is a very unique, special circumstance that I mean, these places are seismically active, but to have a quake this size at the surface just does insane amounts of damage. And then you got like Syria, and Syria is I mean they've been in the middle of a 10-year-long civil war. So eastern Syria, you've got the Kurds, you have the white helmets, you have a lot of people who are used to going through rubble. So at least they've got a whole bunch of experience, folks who are able to recover, and folks in collapsed buildings. Turkey, not so much. And a lot of the emergency services are down. The roads, bridges are out. It's hard for a lot of people to get into these areas right now. So it's gnarly. It's the images that are coming out are just apocalyptic. My heart breaks for these people. And I know that Seattle's due for a similar quake at some point, and I just hope I'm not around for when it happens. Girk's Ice Cream Danwich, thank you so much. Jumping in there, $336, 33.6% of the way to our goal here, and let's help these folks out. They are in big trouble, and they definitely need it. Okay. True Blue, Houston, I wonder if there would be any way for next bridge problem to be solved by using upstream somehow. How would you use upstream? Well, it's the oil and gas news thing. Otherwise, it's the fertility clinic. I don't know enough about upstream. I'm not an oil gas guy, so nice oil and gas news. Upstream online. I mean, they do oil and gas news. I have no idea how else they would help out. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, True Blue. Not a clue. Trey Spider, why hasn't Ryan Cohen done anything about the GME dividend debacle? That's something I would ask him. If Ryan, I know you're watching because you watch my show religiously. Why haven't you done anything about the dividend debacle? Why did you allow the DTCC to do it as a split, as a forward split, and not as a dividend split? Why didn't you not raise a stink? Let us know. Pop into the comments there and let us know. I know you're watching and you're like eating a sandwich going, and you're going to donate a pile of money to this charity here and help us out. Okay. Space Ghost or Space Ghost Terps. That's what it says. I'm buying a Bobby on payday. First gamble of 2023. There you go. Today, if they're doing a new like IPO of some kind, today it may have been a good day to get it because it dropped right back to $3. And if they're actually pulling some moves, why not? Andrew Stewart, Houston, check out Pawnee Buttes, Nebraska. Kimberlite Pipe territory. I know there's Kimberlite pipes in Kansas, but as far as I know, they're not diamondiferous. So, Pawnee Buttes. Well, it's Pawnee Buttes, Colorado. In Northeast Colorado. Oh, sorry. Not Nebraska. Northeast. All right. Oh, you guys can't see where I'm going because there we go. Bam. There's Pawnee. Oh. Yeah. I have it marked here. Okay. So, Pawnee Buttes. First camping. Pawnee Buttes Trailhead. Where are the kimberlite pipes? Normally you can see them from space. Got some weird dig outs. These look like oil and gas, maybe? Yeah, these look like oil and gas rigs. They're getting something out of the ground here. But the kimberlite pipes themselves, I'm not seeing them pop up exactly. No, are they? Oh, this might be right here. These might be them. These guys. These might be kimberlite pipes right there. Got some little oval lakes. These could be them. And there's a whole bunch of oil and gas. Looks like drilling rigs out here. Some old drilling rigs, platforms. And these tiny little lakes could be kimberlite pipes. Okay. So there's kimberlite pipes all through basically like this region heading north. So there's a couple of big ones that make some lakes out here in eastern Kansas. See if I can find them. Where are you? Are these? I thought it's near Colby. I thought. I'm not seeing any lakes right here. Wheeler, Francis, Birdie, McDonald. They cover everything so much with fields. It makes it very hard to see kimberlite pipes. But there's a chunk in Kansas that don't have any diamondiferous anything in them. But there's a whole bunch in this part of the Rockies, like Red Feather Lakes. I've got some claims near here, and you can just look at the lakes. So basically, wherever there's a lake is a kimberlite pipe. This whole region through here, kimberlite pipes. This whole golf course is made surrounding kimberlite pipes. Then they're diamondiferous. My claims are, they're in that region. And you can look in some of the areas, like go between, say, Cheyenne and the Medicine Bow Mountains out here. And along these roads, every single one of these little white things, like kimberlite pipe, kimberlite pipe, kimberlite pipe, kimberlite pipe, all kimberlite pipes in here. These are all, and a lot of them are diamondiferous. They got lots of diamonds in them. And the ranchers are out here like growing cows in the desert, struggling to get by, and their cows are drinking out of a pond that might have $1 billion in diamonds in it. And they just don't care. Personally, I'd rather dig some diamonds than like have emaciated desert cows, but that's just me. So they're everywhere, man. They're everywhere. Okay. Damn, B, thank you for getting this together so fast. I'm just glad that Pious Projects was registered with YouTube, because sometimes people are like, hey, can you do one for this charity? And they're not registered, so that I can't. But Roza chose a good charity, so we're doing it. I don't know if she's able to jump in. She might still be working, but if you're watching, Rosa, hello. Thank you for recommending a good charity. Okay. Oh crap! The chat just reset, and I lost my place. Okay, there we go. Okay. Luke Alexander, Rosa being able to show FINRA blatantly lied in their response shouldn't make the judge ruling in her favor a pretty sure thing, don't you think? I think so. Why not? Why not go for default judgment? Right there. And be like, look, they lied, Your Honor. Let's get a default. She's not at the moment, she's not talking about her case to anyone, so she's like, well, mum's the word at the moment. But why not? Why not go for it? Right? Chris Collins, Oliver Cromwell was an arse. That's an understatement. So my best friend's last name is Heppenstall. Not a very common last name. And he always thought it was like German origin. And then we actually spent the day looking it up. And we went all over the internet and all the genealogy sites. And it turns out Heppenstall was an ancient Norse word for a marshy, boggy place full of rose hips and brambles. And there's a place in like I guess the Midlands area called Heptonstall, which is where the Heppenstalls were from, and it was kind of a useless bog full of mud people until the Industrial Revolution allowed them to like drain all the bogs and build factories, and then that was their day. And in the U.S., there doesn't seem to be very many people with the last name Heppenstall. There's a few dozen of them out there. There's an engine, like a farm equipment engine manufacturer called Heppenstall. They build farm machines or something. But the only famous Heppenstall we found was a man who went by the name Lieutenant M. Heppenstall, who was the chief lieutenant for Oliver Cromwell. And he was 7 feet tall. And he wore a cravat, like a sash, and he was known as the walking gallows. And he would, if he disliked some little short Irishman, he would hang him over his shoulder by his cravat until they died. He literally killed them. And on his grave, it says, "Here lie the bones of Lieutenant M. Heppenstall, judge, jury, executioner, and all." Pretty heavy metal. And my friend is very upset because he's like 5'10", and he wanted to be 7 feet tall. But yeah, so that's Cromwell connection right there. I named my daughter Helga. There you go. Batman, where you at? I have no idea where the Batman is. He was here just before the show, and then he buggered off somewhere. Chris Collins, how long does the judge have to reply? My guess is Rosa will probably do another filing here this week, next week, somewhere in there. Beyond that, not a clue. When the judge will make a ruling on any of this, the judge really does seem to like dragging their feet, just dragging the feet along, just dragging, taking their sweet time. What do you think about the tube drills? Tube drills, like boring machines? Is that what you mean? Tube drills? Diamond drill bits, tubes, global education project. Well, here is tube drills being used in the sarcophagus of the pharaoh in one of the pyramids. Tubular drills vary thickness from 1/4 to 5 inches in diameter, from 1/30 5th inch thick. Smallest hole yet found in a granite is 2-inch diameter. So larger examples. So these look like drills that were made by the Egyptians. I don't know what they look like though. Tube drills. Show me what a tube drill looks like. We got, oops, you guys can't see because you're looking at a map still. I always do that. Bam. Okay, these are modern drills, but I want to see Egyptian. Can I put Egyptian? Ah, okay. Looks like we got a drill. Must have used something to on the edge of that thing to Secret Lost Empire's obelisk. Okay. So they look. I mean, they look like regular boring drills. I never knew about these things. They do cores and everything. So how? What do they use? What do they use to do those drills? Huh. All right, that's gonna give me some things to look up there, Fabrizio, because I'm just learning about these guys. Huh. Prehistoric drilling. Lots of drilling. Doing drill says drilling. They just drill things all day long, and no one wants to explain it to me. That looks cool. $376 donated. Thank you. Whoa, anonymous. Thank you. Thank you, another anonymous. Well, this should update in a moment, right? Got some big anonymous donations there. For Garcia, thank you. And another anonymous. Thank you so much. All right. All right. 376. I think that shouldn't that climb higher? Were we at 2? 37.6 of the 37.6% of the way there. Got $634 $24 to go. So let's do it. Let's help some people, right? Titleist, YouTube again charges the card, but the money does not go through. Happens too often. Anyone else? I don't know. That sounds bad. Darren Saunders, thank you. Getting in there, helping out. Well, heck, that's not good. I would call YouTube and be like, hey man, trying to donate to a charity, and you guys are screwing up. Help me donate to this charity. And so far, when I've had to contact YouTube customer support, they've actually been awesome. It's probably been the best customer support experience I've ever had. So everyone's used to having terrible customer support issues. So by all means, contact YouTube. I recommend their customer support. Cheshire K, are algorithms a real thing in the market, and who controls them if they are real? Ant Trades thinks AMC will squeeze due to cycle of algorithm. The algorithms are usually set by some quant, some nerd at a hedge fund, a market maker, whatever. And they sort of, it's a lot of if then else. It's like, if it's doing this, do this, or else do this. And so it's going through these checks and balances, and they've got, buy levels, sell levels. If too many stocks going this high, we need to sell this much and bring the price down. So these algorithms can be quite complicated. And for the most part, it's a set it and forget it. Unless something weird is happening, and then they'll probably have the quant go look specifically at the trading computer to see what's happening and if it needs to be overridden by a human. But for the most part, the whole point of those algorithms is that some nerd writes the program, hits enter, and doesn't have to look at it again for years, and just shaves money every single day off the top of whatever trades they're doing, and they just make money as time goes on. So it's when stuff gets out of whack. Like I wouldn't doubt, January 21, the quants had to go to the algorithms and start unplugging stuff. Just go, stop. We're gonna die. So whether AMC will squeeze do an algorithm, I mean, again, when the algorithms get weird, you just unplug them, and that's it. Bum, 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 bum. Simon Houston, how long do you think until these meme stocks squeeze? This is taking forever. It's driving me crazy. Personally, I would have thought it would have all squeezed a long time ago. And this is a testament to the ability of the Federal Reserve to keep the market afloat. It like everything is being held together with like gum and popsicle sticks at this point. Uh, so the fact that the market, that the SPY is at like 412 right now, when there's like no good news that should result in the SPY being worth 412. Uh, it defies all logic. Like you get terrible job numbers, inflation's still bad, car repos are going through the roof, home sales aren't happening, um, like wars, potential defaults and debt, like everything is bad news. People are like, green baby, look into the future. It makes zero sense to me whatsoever. Like everything is so detached from reality that how are you supposed to make good predictions and calls beyond like an hour from now? I have no idea. Uh, personally, I think it would be better to just let the whole thing come crashing down, let the squeeze happen, and then start over from there with like a clean slate, a clean rune stick. Okay. Well, I see more donations coming in, and the total of them on my side is not changing. What? Let's see here. Still says 376, and yet more donations have come in since then. It's weird. It's not updating the donation total because we've got like a couple $100 in donations, and the total has not been updated. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Weird. So I have no idea what the total is right now because for some reason it's not updating on the YouTube side. But we just got literally like $200 in donations from anonymouses, and it's still reading 376. So my guess is that we're probably halfway there, but YouTube is not updating the total for us at the moment, which is a bummer because I'd like to know, like, keep track of how it's going here. And thank you everybody for donating. It says 367 for you. Yeah, it says 376 for me, and we've had like $200 in donations since then. And thank you anonymouses who are just killing it right now for earthquake relief in Turkey and Syria. People just been struck with some of the worst things you could possibly imagine, and they need help. So let's help them as best we can. Got 300 of you in here right now. You can all like throw in a couple of bucks. We can get to that $1,000 goal. Okay. Green Eye Bandit Elixir. Veracity is a crypto coin that can gauge the amount of viewers that are seeing advertisements. Oh, so that's how you make sure that eyes are on. They do one of those things like, okay, now that you watch the ad, can you answer these 3 questions, and then you get your coins that way. Kyle Q, would you recommend selling before merger of AMC and Ape if you just had to take a guess right now? And what would be your opinion on that? Personally, I think if you want to make money off of this recombination of the stocks and the reverse split, you just buy a bunch of Ape. The Ape is cheaper than AMC, and if they merge, they'll probably adopt the AMC price, and it'll be worth more than what you paid for it. So that's how I make money off it. I don't know what the price actually is going to do after the merger, but there is going to be a huge sale of stock by AMC so they can pay off their debt. They're going to issue 100 million shares, 200 million, a lot. And the goal will probably raise between $3 and $5 billion to either pay off all their debt or a majority of their debt. And I think if AMC can pay off their debt and get rid of interest payments right now, they could be a profitable company. Interest payments are, I think, what are killing them at the moment. So, hey, there it is, 476. It just updated there. Okay, so we're almost halfway there. 47.6% of the way. Just took a moment for it to like update. Anxiety Lord, thank you. Thank you for your anxiety lording and donations. There we go. It's YouTube's a little slow in the uptick for the charities today. This guy at Diamonds Houston. Did you see the new coins being traded to track politicians' stock trades? NANC and Cruise. Unusual whale tweeted today. That's an interesting way of doing an ETF. Is that you tie the coin to their the value of their holdings. You know, I'm not against that. I think it's kind of a cheeky way of doing it. Yeah, I like that. All right, yeah. So Nancy and Cruz, I like that. Okay. Roadman, Houston, Snog, Mary, Avoid. It's one euphemism of doing that. Yellen, Pelosi, Kathy Wood. Okay. I'm gonna avoid Kathy Wood. She just seems like an unpleasant woman in general. I guess you wanna snog Yellen and marry Pelosi? Because like Pelosi's rich and powerful, so that seems the way to go. Yellen, powerful, kind of rich, and Kathy Wood just seems like an unpleasant person. So just gonna avoid her. Oh, Iggy Limon was a poison ivy joke. Oh, it's Roman numerals IV 4 just makes you itchy. I get it. You guys. Okay. For that. Oh, 526. There we go. Got some more updates. 52.6% of the way there. We're more than halfway to our goal of $1,000 for the Pious Project and helping everybody in the earthquake ravaged South Central Turkey and Northern Syria. So awesome. Good job, guys. Good jobs. Okay. Friday Plant Houston. What are the limitations of a microscope versus a telescope? Can we zoom in endlessly with a microscope, or do we run into something like redshift eventually? Limitations of a microscope are the size of electrons, basically. So, like an optical microscope can zoom in until you don't have a light source anymore that allows you to see what you're looking at. What is the most powerful optical microscope? Most powerful optical microscope. Science Daily. So, scientists have produced the world's most powerful optical microscope, which could help us understand the causes of many diseases. Writing in journal Nature Communications, the team have created a microscope which shatters the record for smallest object the eye can see, beating the diffraction limit of light. Really? Previous standard optical microscopes could see items around 1 micrometer, 0.001 millimeters, clearly. By combining optical microscope with a transparent microsphere, dubbed the microsphere nanoscope, the Manchester researchers can see 20 times smaller, 50 nanometers. Okay. So 5 times 10 to the negative eighth. So that's 0.00000000001 or 5. Or normal light. This is beyond the theoretical limit of optical microscopy. Show me a picture. Show me a picture. What's the name of this thing? By now combining, tell me the name of this thing so I know how to look it up. Science from the New Mechanical School, Aerospace, Civil Engineering now believe they can use the microscope to detect far smaller images in the future. New method has no theoretical limit in the size of feature that can be seen. The new nano imaging system based on capturing optical near field virtual images which are free from optical diffraction and amplifying them using a microscope, a tiny spherical particle which is further relayed and amplified by standard optical microscope. Sounds very complicated. When was this article? It's from 2011. So show me. Was it 2017? Oh, you guys can't. I didn't put my. Show me. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Manchester startup creates world's most powerful microscope, and they, of course, they just show like Nanopis. All right, nanopis, which allows scientists to see objects the size of a virus. So you don't have to use an electron microscope to see it anymore. That's pretty cool. Show me what an image looks like from nanopis. Nanosis image. Images. Whoa, okay. What are we looking at here? Microscope uses transparent beads to boost light visible to the eye. Okay. I have no idea. These are 2 micrometers. These things are teeny tiny. Look like must be transistors. What are we looking at? Nanopis microscope can view nanoscale objects. Well, dang. Well, it looks like we got ourselves a new record holder here for optical microscopes. But regardless of how this technology is working, a tunneling electron microscope is the object that can see the smallest stuff, and basically using electrons to bounce off other objects and sort of get a shape for them. And because electrons are the smallest things we can bounce off something, that's as small as we can see. It's basically another electron. So we can see an atom using electron microscope. These guys are still a long ways away from being able to see an atom, but there's no theoretical limit. So my guess is they can throw some more of those weird little spheres in here, and all of a sudden, zoom in on like the Tron world that's happening. That's cool. I did not know about nanopis. Nanosis, whatever you want to call it. Nanopsis? Nanopis. 551. 55.1% of the way there. Thank you. 88 Red Mustang. Awesome. Who else we got in here? Edit? 88 Red Mustang? Okay, so we're YouTube's figuring out how to update again. So that's good. That's real good. We're an hour in. We're halfway through the show, and we're more than halfway to our goal. Can't ask for more than that. Although, the other 300 of you that are watching, you can throw something in there. Throw a couple bucks in there. Just make it a $5. Throw a $5 in there and push us past our goal, and we'll raise enough money to help out all those folks who need it in the earthquake-ravaged areas in Turkey and Syria. Okay. Well, theoretical limitations for a telescope. You were right about running into redshift eventually. You look far enough away, you eventually see sort of the wall of the Big Bang, which is like the curtain of fuzz. So when the Big Bang went boom, it was so hot that nothing made sense. It was too hot for even light to exist because electrons couldn't be attached to anything. For light to exist, you need electrons changing levels and giving off photons. It was so hot that even electrons did not exist. So there was no way theoretically for photons to exist as well. And when they recombined, it was just a hot mess everywhere. So you couldn't determine any one object because it was just hot, everything. And that has since redshifted as the universe expands. It's redshifted to the point where it's almost expanding away at the speed of light. And it's gone from this incredibly intense, gamma radiation. It's been redshifted down into 2.7 degree Kelvin microwave radiation. So it's almost just disappeared from view entirely. So there are objects that may have been next to us during the Big Bang that have since redshifted away, and we don't see them anymore because they're now accelerating away from us faster than the speed of light, and their light will never reach us anymore. So that's sort of the theoretical limit for telescopes. Now, the big thing about telescopes is not necessarily like magnification. Like what you're trying to do with a microscope is definitely magnification. We also need clarity in there. We don't have to worry about atmosphere moving around and like jiggling your image when you're doing a microscope. Maybe someone bumping your table. But with a telescope, you've got air moving around. It's like different thicknesses and refracts light differently, so it makes the stars twinkle. So you're kind of limited in your seeing and like the resolution you can get by what type of atmosphere conditions you're playing with. And in space, you don't have to worry about the atmosphere, but you're limited by like how big you can make your mirror. So the goal is to make as big a mirror as possible with the best resolution as possible. And if you get really good resolution, who cares about magnification? Because you can just zoom in and see things really nicely. One of the ways to get high resolution images is like you can have the light gathering capability of a huge mirror, but if you've got two mirrors separated a giant distance, you can get the resolution of a huge mirror without necessarily the same light gathering capabilities. So things like the very long baseline array, in Contact, the big radio telescopes throughout in the field in, I think they're in New Mexico, that Jodie Foster's characters like listening to whatever in her headphones and just grooving out. Those are set up in this huge Y. So let's see if we can find them on Google Earth here. Go there. Turn on the Google Earth. I said turn on the Google Earth. There we go. VLBA, very long baseline array. Yeah, that's where I want to go. No, wait, this is the one in like, this is the wrong one. This is the one in like Tennessee or something. That's not where I want to be. VLBA rated. No. VLBA, New Mexico, Hightown Station. This is what we want. Nope. Wrong. I mean, it's not the VLBA. But what they do with these ones, this VLBA, very long baseline array, is that you've got one here and you got one in like Tennessee or whatever, and you get you might not get the light gathering power of a telescope that goes from New Mexico to Tennessee, but what you will get is the resolution power of a telescope that's that size. So you can see very, very fine details you otherwise would not be able to see. But the one in New Mexico, very long VLA? It's just VLA, very long array? Crap. VLA Center, New Mexico. Is this what I want? Very large array. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, okay. So this is shaped kind of like a Mercedes symbol, divided into thirds, right? And it goes miles long. And what they can do is they can move these big, large telescopes along this track. So this railway here, and they can make it much longer than they need to have greater resolution. And then they combine the images into one image. And it goes for miles. It goes for like, I don't know, 13 miles or something. So yeah, so let's see how, let's measure. From there, come on, measure. Oh, I put it in feet. I want to put it in, yeah, 13.5 miles. That's how long that is. So, yeah, so you have something that's a radius of 13 miles, and that is the resolution power of this telescope as a result. It's pretty neat. And this is where Jodie Foster was. She was at the very, very large array, looking for aliens or whatever. And you can individually have these things look at individual stuff, or you can have them all look at the same thing. It looks like the way they're turned is right now they're all looking at the same thing. You see them here. But yeah, they move down this rail, and they get laid and set down at varying distances. So like there's nothing at this one. You can cross this road here. You can set some up here. Now here, so it looks like they're not set up for the very large array at the moment. They must be concentrated on something very specific and not doing a wide field radio view of space. But yeah, that's how you get high resolution for telescopes. Okay. Well, heck. Oh, whoa, anonymous. Holy shit. Just pushes over the top there, and is not updated on the screen for me yet, but thank you. Justin G, thank you. Jonathan Olson, thank you. Another anonymous, thank you. Another anonymous. Anonymous is kicking ass today. We just pushed over the limit. It's not updated on my side yet, but we definitely are over $1,000 now. Thank you, Mega Anonymous, jumping in there and throwing it down for us. Man, I can't wait for that thing to update. Why take so long to update? Show me the success rate that we just had for yet another amazing Charity Tuesday. You guys are just the best. Absolutely the most awesome group people on the internet. I don't have like the audience of Hassan or something. And you think he raised like $540,000 for charity the other day. We don't have that size audience, but bang for the buck, you guys are top notch, man. Like just fantastic. Way to go. Thank you. SJ, thank you. Holy smokes. You guys are getting in here. It's man. That is fantastic. Okay. It's gonna update any moment now and we're gonna have a heart attack. But dude, you guys are just man. Okay, one sec. I'm gonna update the Twitter. I'm gonna update Twitter here. See if we can get more folks in here. And all right. Halfway through today's show, and we just flew past $1,000 for at Pious Projects. There you are. Click on that. To help with earthquake relief. Get in on the action. Boom, boom. YouTube link. Tweet it. There we go. All right. And you guys go on Twitter and retweet that thing out there. See how many people can help with the sucker. Right? Man, you guys kick ass. Fantastic. I think we might even be flying past last week's. We did like 1,400 with AMC Bigums for guide dogs. We might be flying past that today. So thank you. Yeah. Okay, back to the questions. My heart's like with excitement right now. Jeff Markley, I read the entire landmass of Turkey moved 3 meters. I wouldn't doubt it. When the Sumatran earthquake happened, the entire island of Sumatra moved like 100 feet, like 30 meters. Like the islands went dunk and just moved 30 meters off of that earthquake. So having Turkey move that far, I wouldn't doubt that at all. The Earth is very powerful. When it wants to move things in a hurry, it can do it. Yeah. Girk's Ice Cream Danwich, why are you telling everyone puts cost same like shares, man? You donated, so I'll accept your shit posting. Ace Ventura, Houston, can you please explain women, please? I mean, probably better have a woman explain women. Human beings, generally the opposite sex of men, with their own thoughts, feelings, ambitions, goals, ideals, and respect that. That'd be my guess, my explanation. Okay. James Miller, tell me again why AMC will not moas. I won't say it won't moas. I think it's unlikely to. Simply because right now we got 25-30% ownership by hedge funds, right? And they signed an agreement they would not sell for 90 days. Those 90 days are up on March 22nd. The vote happens on March 14th. So the vote happens, then maybe 10-15 days between when the vote happens to when they decide on the date of record and everything. By then, they can sell, right? If they want to. They can just dump whatever 30 million, 40 million, 50 million shares they have, and they can sell and be out. And they can bring the price down. Okay, recombination happens, price goes up. Maybe they wait until then to sell. Maybe they're holding long term. Maybe I'm just a total idiot and they're just holding long term and they're never going to sell. I don't know. But we're going to have to, AMC's going to have to sell 100 million, 200 million shares to raise the money they need to raise, right? They're going to double the float essentially, maybe more than that, to raise $3 to $5 billion. That $5 billion, that's going to come to an average of what? $1,200 per current AMC investor to raise that kind of money. My guess is that the AMC investors currently don't have that cash on hand on average, and they're not going to be able to be the ones to buy a lot of those shares. So a lot of ones who will buy those shares might be institutional investors. And those institutional investors, if they're hedge funds especially, are going to use those as locates for further shorting. And they can also use that if they buy enough of them, then the institutions will have over 50% of the float of AMC. And if that's the case, then they can dictate who's on that board. And if they're nefarious, they can say, put these guys on the board and nothing can do about it because we got the majority of the votes. And so they put whoever they want on the board, and they can do whatever they want from the inside. So they can rack up debt all over again. They can close successful theaters. They can do all sorts of heinous stuff. So putting that many shares out there that can be used as locates means there's an ability to cover for a whole bunch of shorts that weren't able to cover before. And so in my mind, best case scenario, AMC is able to legitimize their business, get rid of their debt, and move on as just a successful company. We'll have a strong stock performance. Worst case, short hedge funds take over and start all over again, shorting the stock down for $50 and making a fortune off of it. And they'll have so many people in power at that point that there'll be nothing we can do. So those are the two sides of it. Like, which one will win? Will retail be able to come up with the $5 billion needed to pay off all of AMC's debt and buy that stock? Or is Adam Aaron unwillingly going to end up selling those to institutionals, into hedge funds and whatnot, or selling them directly to those hedge funds? I don't know, man. I don't know. But providing so many shares that can be used as locates or as borrows does not help us in the end for moas. William Morgan, keep an eye on West Christian's lawsuit plays and those in CEO block. Yeah. William Morgan saying I need to get all the CEO block guys on here and do some interviews. I do. I should reach out to them and be like, hey, come and yell at me for an hour, and let's figure out what's going on. Because it seems like they're all like, well, all right, we're gonna do some stock splits, and we're gonna do some preferred shares, and we're gonna do some crypto dividends, and we're gonna. So they are doing all sorts of different little things at the moment, and why not? Why not get it, man? Legacy 10 Productions, thank you for getting in there. And we still have not had our update. Boom, boom, boom. Is it updating on this screen? Nope, still has it at $551, even though we know we are past it right now. YouTube, get your act together. It's not updated yet. Okay. William Morgan, MOAS won't happen if they don't issue margin calls because nobody's enforcing the rules. Yeah, and you can't do margin calls when you've got 5,000 hedge funds underneath you. Like, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, and Goldman Sachs each have between 3,000 and 5,000 hedge funds underneath them that they've lent to, right? And each one of these hedge funds they've lent like tens or hundreds of billions of dollars to each and every single solitary one of these things. So you margin call one, cool, you're on the hook for that, right? But if you're having to sell positions in the market that they have, you're going to drop the price and value of all the others that are underneath you, and you're going to have to margin call all of them. If anything, this is an argument for why we need oodles more investment banks in this country. We can't keep letting them collapse and consolidate because they've got so many liabilities to their own clients that they cannot afford to do their job and to regulate their clients. So many hedge funds right now should be getting margin calls, but the investment banks are too scared. The prime brokers are too scared that if they do a margin call, it's going to be like Archegos, and they're going to be stuck with an incredible amount of debt that they won't be able to close any of this stuff. All of a sudden it becomes real all of a sudden. and then you end up like Credit Suisse, and you are about to go under, and you're begging for anyone, please Saudis, come in and just give us money and save our 300-year-old investment bank. I think if that's the case, they're going to need so much money from the central bankers to survive that it will make 08, 09 and the printing that was done in 2020 for the pandemic look like child's play. Absolutely child's play. It's so much money. I mean, let's say, okay, let's do a little math. Let's go. Okay, turn off that. Turn off the Chrome. Calculator. There we go. Go to the calculator. There's 4,500 hedge funds that are under just JP Morgan. 4,500 of them, right? 4,500 of them. If they are all, let's say out of those 4,500, the average is $1 billion in assets for every single one of those. You might have some at $400 million, some at $16 billion, whatever. Let's say the average is $1 billion, right? So their assets alone come out to $4.5 trillion. Where'd that 2 come from? What the what? Why is there a 2 in there? They did 200 plus. Oh, weird. Okay, one sec. I think I didn't clear out from the last time I was on here. Okay. 4,500 hedge funds times 1 billion. All right, so $4.5 trillion is how much the assets are of the hedge funds who trade using JP Morgan as a prime broker. Okay. Now, their liabilities are upwards of 30 times that, right? Because they get a 30x margin. So, JP Morgan's liabilities are in fact $135 trillion for those 4,500 hedge funds who trade underneath them. $135 trillion are the liabilities for just JP Morgan. This is like back of the napkin math, right? That's just assuming that the average hedge fund has $1 billion in assets and is trading at 30x on margin. So if JP Morgan wants to shut down one hedge fund who's a bad performer, then liquidate their assets. So all of a sudden, a whole bunch of shares or bonds or whatever appear in the market. That's going to drive down the price of all the other stocks and bonds that are with all the other 499 hedge funds under them, and then they have to margin call them and liquidate them. It's just going to be a chain reaction across the entire board, and suddenly JP Morgan owes $135 billion in short securities that they don't have. Or sorry, $135 trillion, not billion, $1 trillion in securities they don't have. So where does that money come from? How does the Federal Reserve print $135 trillion? They can't. I mean, that's what? 15 times our entire economy? Right? The global economy is only 80 trillion. So just this one bank has $135 trillion in liabilities, more or less, to just hedge funds. This does not count, other investment portfolios, other institutions, pension funds, you name it, that they're working with. No one can afford to margin call anyone because all these banks have gotten too big. And the 30x margin limits are too much. Like, it shouldn't be more than 3. You can play with 3 times as much money as you have in assets. That's it. Now, if it was 3, divide the sucker by 10, right? And we can divide that by 10. And that's still $13 trillion that JP Morgan will be liable for, which is still more than any bank institution anyone has available to them anywhere. But 13.5 trillion is something that can be taken care of almost entirely via the reverse repo market and the almost $9 trillion in assets that the Federal Reserve has right now. So then we just have to print like another trillion or 2 on top of that. Cool beans. We can handle that. We can't handle 135 trillion. So that's just a lot of liability. And that's just one of the three major investment banks that are left. So Goldman Sachs and Merrill Lynch are almost just as bad. I think JP Morgan has the most liabilities out of them, but Goldman Sachs has like 5,000 hedge funds under them and family funds. So that's reason. That's probably the biggest reason why we aren't seeing any margin calls, because they can't afford it. They know it's just going to be a chain reaction and a meltdown of the entire system if they start margin calling. And they tested it with Archegos and then went, oh, and Archegos was just $800 million family fund. Like, they're small, they're tiny, they're nothing. So what happens when you do it when one that's a 10 or $20 billion hedge fund? Just oof. Leo B, anonymous, thank you so much. So jumping in here, for some reason our totals are not updating timely, but we are definitely over 1,000. My guess is around 1,200 or so, 1,300 that we've raised so far for Pious Projects. Monkey Blob, are you excited? The blob on the bed is very excited. She's just beside herself right now. She's passed out from how excited she is. She just can't handle it. Awesome job. Okay. Where are we? Citizen 54, if RC intervenes, wouldn't it imperil moas? I think GME needs to play dumb and pretend they didn't see it coming. Is there precedent to interfere? Yeah. I mean, Overstock did it. Overstock complained about short sellers, naked short selling for years. And finally was like, you know what? T0, baby. And they launched that sucker and they trapped them. And the shorts sued, saying, you can't do that. And the judge was like, yeah, they can. You know, your job is to make as much money for your clients as possible. Their job is to make as much money and value for their shareholders as possible. And if they're combating your manipulation with one of these crypto dividends, there's nothing you can do about that. You're screwed. So yeah, you can step in. I mean, we see it with the CEO block. The CEOs are all saying, hey, we're being shorted like crazy, and it's all illegal, and it's all naked, and it's not legit, and we're going to do what we can to fight them. So I don't see why someone who's a little bit larger cap can't jump in there and do the same thing. And Ryan Cohen's talked about these shorts before. You know, he did little emojis like shorts are dead or whatever. So he's talked about it like circuitously, but he has not gone after them directly. I don't think if he did, anyone would care. The shorts might be mad, but who cares what they think? They're a bunch of assholes. And, you know, GME can lawyer up just as big as they can and then win all their money back from them. Okay. GT322, be careful at HKD part 2. Couple of days, huge news coming from Hong Kong. Will rip again. This time 3 to 5K. HKD going 3 to 5K this time. Why? They're at $9 right now. We can show when they first popped on the scene this summer. $721, not too shabby. They must have done a split because it was a $2,000, right? It was as intraday. It was $2,000. Maybe they closed it at $700. They've had a couple of pops, 108, and then trickling back out. That'll pop earlier in this month or last month, $22, and then trickled back down. I mean, 35K, that'd be awesome. Is there even options chain for these guys yet? AMTD, HKD options chain. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. I got to turn on the Chrome. I always forget to do that. Okay. Nope, there's no options chain for them yet, so there's no way to benefit from it going to absolutely moon levels. No options chain for them yet, because there's probably not enough shares in existence. Oh, whoops, I'm on the wrong screen. You guys are still looking at nano things. I can put on the other Google. I have too many Chrome windows open. There. Uh, where is crap? One sec. Copy that. Minimize that. Open Nanopsys. Nanopiss. Oops. There we go. That's what we want. All right. Yeah, no options chain yet for HKD. Ain't nothing. Ain't nothing but a hound dog at the moment. So, it's going to $5,000 a share. I'd buy a call, right? Because then you're looking at $500,000 for like $100 investment. Not too shabby. I'm okay with that. But there's no option chain at the moment, so buy 100 shares, cost $1,000. Maybe it goes. You can get some millions out of it, but don't know if that's happening. Don't know. William Lobach, Houston, I admire you and I'm not being antagonistic. Your dismissal of Graham Hancock's scientific evidence is disappointing and reminds me of religious dogma. Have you actually read his work? You guys have to remind me who Graham Hancock is again. Is this the guy, the Hollow Moon guy? Graham Bruce Hancock, British writer, promotes pseudoscientific theories involving ancient civilizations and lost lands. Hancock speculates that advanced Ice Age civilization was destroyed in a cataclysm, but that survivors passed on their knowledge to hunter-gatherers, giving rise to the earliest known civilizations of ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Mesoamerica. Yeah. This guy has no evidence for anything. at all. He's written lots of books that speculate on stuff, but there is no evidence whatsoever of anything that he claims ever happening. So, yeah, I'm gonna wave that dude off. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's the guy that does the Orion correlation. And is bullshit. He's the one that posted the thing that was like, look at how Orion's belt lines up with the pyramids in Egypt, and they don't line up. So he says lots of things that aren't true. So yeah, I'll just reject that dude right off the bat. I mean, you can anyone can sit around and like this he photoshopped an image to make it look like all the stars lined up with the pyramids, and they don't, and they're off. And it kind of almost lines up, but that's not the way it is. Like my little sister was very religious and believed Earth was 5,000 years old and rejected everything that had to do with evidence of ancient societies, old life, archaeology, paleontology, you name it. And one evening, she's having a debate with. I was just sitting back and watching. She's having a debate with my best friend, who's an evolutionary biologist, another friend of ours, who at the time was a PhD student at Yale in paleontology, right? And these smart dudes, they know a lot. The one that was a PhD student is now a full-on professor at Stanford. He knows his stuff, right? And my sister is saying, but the Bible says, the Bible says, the Bible says, and stating her things. And then my friend chimes in and is like, look, I can sit around, smoke a bunch of doobies, listen to Pink Floyd albums, and think of stuff, but that's not science. Science is finding out if you're right or not. And if you're not right, figuring out why, and then trying again. Like, just sitting around and thinking of things is really easy to do. Humans love sitting around thinking of things. But when it comes down to it, a scientist has to test whether they're right or not. And if they're not right, they have to admit it. It's very important to admit when you're wrong in a scientific pursuit, because if you don't, someone else is going to find out you're wrong, publish later, and embarrass the hell out of you. That's how peer review works. And this dude sits around, he thinks of stuff, and he makes up these fantastical notions, and he looks for these correlations, and he omits a whole bunch of data. And then when somebody smarter comes along and goes, yeah, that's not right, this is actually how it happened, this is the evidence we have, he goes, la 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 la, and that's not how it works. So, you know, that's just the reality of it, man. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Publish and let everybody see for themselves. Since that way in the future they go, oh, so if I try to do another experiment this way, it won't work. So we can avoid that. We try a new method, things like that. And what Hancock's not doing is not science. It is he's doing it under the guise of science, but he's not actually doing any scientific research or archaeological research. He's just sort of cobbling together a peyote experiment and then going from there. Dan Marshall, is it safe to buy a used car yet? No, used car prices started going up again because new cars are so expensive, no one can afford them because of the interest rates. And so people are going to used cars again, which is causing the price of used cars to go up once more. So we're going to be stuck in this cycle forever, man. Apparently, Carvana stock can rocket once more as a result of used car prices going up. So as the car guy was saying, sell to Carvana, buy from your local dealer as the way to get the best value you can. Where was I? Sorry, I just lost my spot again. I'm a spot loser. Somebody, where was I? Am I that far behind? Apparently I'm that far. Holy crap, I'm so far behind. So far behind. Okay, so that was that one. That was that one. That was that one. Chadisms, Houston, check out the reshot structure. I don't have time to watch right now. We'll catch up later. No, we are not going to the Eye of Africa just because you asked me to. Okay. I am an hour behind. That's how far behind we are right now. And I got 27 minutes left. But has not updated our total at all. We should be at like a lot. Vera Nocum, thank you so much for getting in there as well. But yeah, total is not updated at all for our charity. Come on, YouTube, update. Show us how much we kicked ass today. Why are you not updating? It's very, very annoying. Oh, Yogi 2012 Upstream Exchange is what they're talking about. They enable dual listing to the blockchain. It's what CRTD and other CEO block tickers are using. Oh, not Upstream, the oil and gas news company. Okay. All right. I'll look into that more because I don't know how dual listings work. I'll have to look into it more. Give me something to read. Right, Monkey? Right? Just so excited under that blanket. Those watching at home, that's a dog. I promise. Andrew Stewart, Houston, when Snoopy guest appearance, you need more dog hair in the house. Oh my God. I'm still finding it everywhere. Like, change the sheets on the bed, get all nice. And the next day, there's like a wad of Snoopy hair somehow like wadded up in the new sheets. How? Where'd it come from? There was none when I put the sheet down. Snoopy hair is just, it's a constant thing. Like, I still find it like floating through the house. It's a nightmare, man. VRNLQ Vernolk. Houston, did you see DTC notice HSBC refuses to pay interest and maturity payments since Monday? Yeah, somebody pointed that out actually last week on the show, and sent me the data. I don't know why, but it's like, but basically saying no, we're not paying that, and I don't know what reasoning there is behind it. It's not saying they can't pay it; it's saying they're like, no, we're not going to pay it. So now what? What do these self-regulatory organizations do when one of their members refuses to pay what they're supposed to pay? I don't know what the DTC is going to do and what the outfall would be. It's weird. It's very weird. All right, come on, man. Update the total. I want to see the total so that my heart can explode out of my chest. Tyler Connor, love Cherry Tuesdays. Keep it coming. Yeah, man. But YouTube needs to update so we can have an idea. We need to measure things. We're humans. We like to have measurements of stuff, and our measurement is currently down by like $1,000. So please update YouTube. Okay. Yogi, 2012, Houston, as a professor, what is your opinion of what Genius is doing as a business model? Would you teach for them? I have no idea. Genius Group? Is that what you're talking about? New Zealand home childcare? Nope, probably not that. You might have to send me which genius, because probably the word genius gives me 8 million different things, and you may have to send me what you're talking about, Yogi, because I'm not gonna be able to find it via a Google search without knowing specifically what it is that they're doing. So send it to me, and I'll look at it. People discussing why it's not updating. Boss says they're using it to launder during the lag. Timothy Brown, thank you for donating. I'm sorry it's not adding to the total right now. It stopped. It was taking a long time, and then just sort of stopped at 551. We know that we have like $700 or $800 since then added to it, but it's not showing us at all what our totals are. Very frustrating. Meow meow. After the squeeze, any chance Ken Griffin goes on MSNBC crying about how retail is a bunch of greedy anti-Semitic bigots? No, he'll probably go on Fox Business or CNBC for that. But Ken Griffin is a super Republican, so he's not going to complain about his own policies. So yeah. Bill Coyne AMC going to charge extra for the term quality seats. Basically, the price is determined by where you sit, not seeing this going over well. Yeah, I mean, they're going to charge like $1 or $2 more to sit in the good seats. And what I see happening is fights. Because it's America. And what happens is someone's like, this seat's cheap, this just ticket's cheaper, I'm buying that one. And then they go and just sit in the nice seats anyway. And someone who paid for the nice seats comes along and is like, hey man, I paid for this seat. And the person who's sitting in those seats is like, tough shit. But hey, like, I paid more money to be in that seat than you. I need you to move. And they're going to go, make me. And then fights. There'll just be fights at AMC theaters over who paid $1 more for a seat and who's bigger, angrier asshole. And once that happens a couple of times, you're going to see complaints about, I'm not going to go to AMC theaters anymore because fights keep breaking out. Or my wife got punched in the face, and AMC's going to be like, oh, we're going to have ushers at every single theater to make sure people sit in the seats that are assigned. And all of a sudden, their costs go up. Because right now, usually you can have like a high school kid wander around and sweep up some seats or whatever later and check out. But if you have to have somebody at the start of every single solitary show and your whole lineup, making sure everyone, you're seated right here, sir, then the costs go through the roof. And it's not 1915. We don't have ushers at the theaters anymore that like seat people in their seats. It's a modern era. We are doing everything bare minimum, and we want to be able to run an entire theater with 3 high school kids. That's the goal. So I don't see it going over well in the end. Oh, you mean Genesis? GNS? Um, I'll look into what their teaching thing is about. I don't know. Okay. Me dating Nancy Pelosi to be the only way to ever get into options. Anxiety Lord, love to hear your thoughts on Zoomies. They're a Linwood company. I mean, they're a skate company, skateboard alternative company. They're in shopping malls. Beyond that, I know nothing about Zoomies after that. I bought a pair of shoes from them once, like 15 years ago. That's all I know. Okay. Update, you stupid charity thing. Come on. Update, update, update. I got 18 minutes left. And I gotta bail. Robert Hurt watched the documentary about the Pepsi and the Harrier jet happen in your backyard. Couldn't help but notice the similarities in the legal fight they had with MMTLP. Yeah, I haven't seen the documentary yet, but I remember when it happened and the Pepsi points. And they had a commercial where they said, like, for 30 million Pepsi points, you can get a Harrier jet. And so a guy collected 30 million Pepsi points and he's like, I want my Harrier jet. And they're like, no. And he sued and he won. They had to pay him millions of dollars, like the value of a Harrier jet or something. So if he wanted to, he'd go out and buy his own. But I should watch that documentary. I remember being hilarious as a kid that somebody actually did that. So telescopes for far away stuff. Periscope is that thing on a submarine to look at the surface. But what's that thing called that lets you see through walls again? See through walls. Stud finder? Was the endoscope, which allows you to see up people's butts. But you can also use them for like looking under doorways if you're a Navy SEAL guy or something. I don't know what see through wall. A window? A window allows me to see through a wall just fine. Okay. What is... Oh, sorry. Someone's posting question marks really big. Okay. Roy Sport 67, so MMTLP shareholders screwed? Will we see a dime, or is this a zero loss? I'm in for 9,500 shares. I mean, we've got several lawsuits going on right now. The goal is to get them to force close positions. Whether that's how it's going to roll out, I have no idea. In my own bias, they should be forced to close those positions at market price and then go from there. But if the overarching goal of NextBridge Hydrocarbons is to sell their assets to a bigger oil company, you'll still get paid, whether it's from next bridge itself, or it's from the short who created the counterfeit share you're holding. They'll have to pay you a payment in lieu for that. So regardless, at some point you will get money for your shares, whether it's a boatload because they're forced to close, or if it's a pretty decent amount because they sell their assets. Either way, it's gonna be more than you paid for it. Be my guess, a lot more. Damn, we have some ballers in the chat. Update, update, charity, update. Does it still say 551 for you guys? That's what it says for me. And if I go to open up the, oops, that's the NASDAQ. I want to open up, click on you, copy the link, close that, go there. What's it say on the, it's showing 551 on, like, we know we are at over 1400 or so. So why is it showing 551? I don't update YouTube. Update you dinger donger. Okay. Let's see here. Got 14 minutes left. Let's find Georgia Hurd. Houston, also love this group. Thanks for making a space for us to do this. No, thank you everybody for jumping in here and doing the donations. Even though YouTube is not doing its job of updating the grand total, we know we've raised a boatload of money. We raised more than we did last week with AMC Bigums on here. And this was just an emergency natural disaster relief charity show. So it's awesome. And Monkey Butt is super excited. You can tell by just how motionless she is that she just can't, she's beside herself, and she cannot even comprehend the good works you guys just did with your donations today. JCVCMCIC, Jean-Claude Van Clam, donated $100 at 5:35 Central Standard Time, but don't see it under chat. Anonymous, I'm sure there's a reason, but since updating appears to be delayed, I'm just wondering. I don't know. I might have to reach out to YouTube customer service and be like, hey, did a charity show and things were updating well. A lot of people who donated weren't having their stuff show up. So it's weird. It should be just like ring ding 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 dinging along. I've never had this happen before where it was this slow at updating. This is a first for me. So I don't know. But I'll probably send them a note saying, hey, we raised a bunch of money, but it's not showing up. Jen Ard, thank you for donating, even though it's not updating there, but thank you. EMS, how come Boss Blunts has the opposite opinion? He's convinced about AMC, but so are you. Can you explain the difference? Honest question. I mean, I think some of the guys who are raw AMC, they put a lot of trust in Adam Aaron to do the right thing. And I think my beef is that I don't trust Adam Aaron to do the right thing. I think that's where it is that he's made me pessimistic as to how he goes about issuing shares and where he seeks money from. Like, you know, he sold 300 million shares at below $1 to these hedge funds and raised a couple $100 million. Cool. Why didn't he sell 300 million shares at $10 and raise $3 billion? Pay off 80% of his debt right there back in August. So if his goal was to dilute, why didn't he dilute when it was expensive? And why did he wait to dilute until it was the cheapest possible price point, like the absolute bottom at 50 and 60 cents a share? He's like, that's a perfect time to sell hundreds of millions of shares. It's just weird. It's weird. And like, he could have not sold any and pushed for the T90, and he didn't. He sold. So if you're going to sell, why not just sell right off the bat and raise all the money you need? right? And then you can do your recombination and all that stuff and sell some more when you recombine, and not to sell to hedge funds at all. I just, I think that's where I am. I'm just in that once bitten twice shy kind of mode, and then like all I can see is Adam Aaron doing the thing that screws us over, and others are a bit more optimistic in this case. And normally I'm an optimistic dude, uh, and they're like, no, it's gonna work. He's gonna sell to retail. It's gonna be great. But is he? Is he though? Is he gonna sell to retail, or is he gonna sell $5 billion in stock to the worst people he can possibly imagine? And that's where I'm sitting, man. That's where I'm sitting. Okay. All right. Scroll past that. Scroll past that. Scroll past that. Scroll past that one. Okay, there we are. Buy Blockbuster. With the math you just laid out for JP Morgan, assuming the other hedge funds are in the same, there will never be a MOAS in any stock because it will wipe out the entire market. And that was all the points people made 2 years ago was that a MOAS of this level would wipe out the entire market. And I have no problem with that. Like, wipe out the market. Kill it. Pay me my money. Kill the market. Start over. And we'll have a whole new group of people with power and influence than we had before. I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's going to suck for pretty much everyone else on Earth. But it's already sucked for everyone else on Earth already. So might as well burn the system to the ground and start over with a new group of people who hopefully will do a better job managing the marketplaces and regulating this stuff. So that's the reason why they're going to try as hard as they can to not have a MOAS. But sometimes the bottom falls out of a market and there's nothing anyone can do about it because housing prices collapse, China never pays off their debt, World War III starts, whatever. There's things that are going to be outside the hands of the Fed, and there's going to be certain things they just can't control. They can control what they can control for as long as they can control it, but the minute it spills over, then it becomes a global problem, and there's another 7.5 billion people on Earth who all have their own goals and problems and everything else, and so the Federal Reserve cannot control what happens for all those other people on Earth. They'll try their best, but as we saw in 08, 09, sometimes it just gets away from you. And such is life. Craig Donner. If shorts don't cover on any particular stock and there's existing FTDs, then all shorting has to be halted until it's fixed. Just thinking out loud. I'm up for that. Yeah. Like, if FTDs exist, no more shorting until FTDs don't exist. There you go. Can't short anymore until you fix this. Miss Missy, hi all watching have COVID and feel much like the market today, but watching. Oh, feel better, Miss Missy. It's not fun. You're not the first person to watch our show while having COVID, and I did a charity show while having COVID, and I felt terrible. And then I slept for 2 weeks. So get your rest, hang out, chill, relax, get your Paxlovid. What the other one? I can't remember what the other one is. But help out, man. Help out. Still no update as to our totals. YouTube. Come on, YouTube. Come on. Ooh, another anonymous. Thank you, anonymous. Thank you. Man, we should be at like $1,500 right now. Maybe more. And is not updating the total. We can add it up. At least a good chunk of them. But just from here, that's 50, 70, 80, 110, no, 100, 105, 115, 120, 320, 370, 390, 395, 405, $905 from there, from an anonymous did. So we should be at $1,456 minimum right now for that. So come on, YouTube, update. Give us that sweet satisfaction of showing us the nice big numbers that we managed to rack up today in donations. And thank you. Right, monkey? Got a dead dog over here. Somebody who never watched my show before. Marius had done a clip, posted the clip, and Monkey was asleep. And they didn't have the blanket on, just asleep. It didn't move for like 6 minutes. The clip. The comment was just, "Is that a dead dog?" Yes. Dead dog. Dead dog right here. Just a lump of dead dog. That's what we got. Okay. Marie Garcia, Houston, sorry about that. Donated twice. The credit card thought it was fraud, just approved, so it should update soon. Hopefully it'll update. We'll see. Not doing any updating at the moment. Georgie, Brella Brother, what's going on with BBBY? Is it going to have a nice run up soon? What are your thoughts? It sounds like BBBY is going to sell a bunch to an anchor investor, and anchor investors generally are something that happens when there's an IPO. So perhaps they're going to reissue shares. Maybe they're going to recall all the shares that exist and issue new ones to those who have it. And it might be a short trap if that's the case. They could see their stock price fly. And if they see their stock price fly, they might be able to do some more sales of authorized shares and make enough to pay off their debts. Because they're another company that's trapped by debt, right? Like, sales are down at brick and mortar stores. They don't have a very good online presence. And they've got a boatload of debt and a whole bunch of really high interest rates they got to pay. So if you can get rid of that debt and you're no longer paying all that money in interest, then you're good to go. You all of a sudden, where you weren't making money, you all of a sudden are making money because you're not paying all that money off in interest. Same thing's happening with the U.S. government right now. Like, it used to be $400 billion a year that we're paying interest on our giant debt. But now interest rates have gone up. We're paying $1 trillion a year. So like 1/5 of all the money that we raise through our taxes is now being spent on interest to the debt that we have. And because you're paying so much interest on debt means you got to raise more money to pay the interest on the debt you have. And it becomes a horrible cycle. So we'll see where it goes. Either that or, Bed Bath & Beyond is just going to die a horrible death. Again, either or. It kind of ways. Horrible death, reissue their shares, and have some sort of magical thing happen. I don't know. Jersey, how about sending letters of support for Roza to this judge? Letter of support won't do it, but if there are people with legal minds out there who like to write amicus briefs, that would help. So amicus briefs from outside experts being sent in to a court case saying, Your Honor, here's some court cases that are similar. These are the expected outcomes. We think you should rule this way. Those will help a lot. Okay. Miss Missy said 661 when I rebooted 2 minutes ago. Now says 551. I don't know. Like Cirque Invisiosa, thank you. And Jeremy Gavix, thank you so much. Like, we should be over $1,500 for sure by now, but it's not updating at all. It's very frustrating. Update. 4:30. I gotta go, man. And Taryn, thank you. Man, we might be at like $1,600, but it's not updating at all. I'm gonna send off a quick message to YouTube, and then I gotta head out. Monkey butt, monkey, monkey butt, monkey, monkey butt, monkey, monkey butt, monkey. Shall we end the show with something magical for you? Yeah? Is that what you want? Something magical? Yeah? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that dog. Look at that floppy dog right there. Thank you, everybody. You went above and beyond. Raised a boatload of money for Pious Projects. And again, this is Rosa's charity of choice to help out in Turkey. Thank you so much for getting in there. And maybe eventually we'll have an idea of what the total is if YouTube ever updates this thing. Until then, we can. Oh yeah, that was the sound that Monkey Butt wanted. Yes. Oh. Because you raised so much money, Monkey gets a treat, right? Come on up here. Come on up here, Monkey. Get that treat. Oh, get it. Get it. Get it. You just got to put your face in there. You got to put your face in there. You got to get it. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. There it is. All right, one more. Lock this up. Oh, it's so beef jerky smelly. Most beef jerky smell in the entire world hit me in the face every time I close that bag. Oh, back up on the shelf. Here, you want to show everybody a trick? Want to show everybody a trick? Get up on the bed. Up on the bed. Come on. All right. Can you twirly do? Can you twirly do? No, monkey. Got twirly do. Got twirly do. There you did twirly do. Okay. Oh, that's good enough. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for making an impromptu Charity Tuesday so successful. We'll do a regular show tomorrow. And Monkey Butt will probably get some more treats then because she's such a good dog, right? So she's not a dead dog. She's very much alive. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night, and see you tomorrow, right? Yeah.